I'll just say my name is Tom Huston, and I am the host of this series, Speaking of Art School. I am an alumni of the San Francisco Art Institute. Today, I'm interviewing Ruth Chase in this special time of the pandemic that we're in. How has that affected you and what you do and how you do it?
Well, at the beginning of the pandemic, just like many artists, not all artists, I was polarized. I mean, if that's the right word.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was in shock because I had just gotten off of a 4-year grant cycle where my work and my life has been dedicated to community and bridge building. And but also, if you've worked with grants, you're
Mm-hmm.
very it's like a job, and so
Yeah.
there's less freedom. And I had just been in the midst of this really good momentum of finally painting paintings just for me and for my own work. So the pandemic put me in shock, like, fuck.
Right.
Like, okay, I might not be going where I thought I was going to be headed. And so what that did is it caused me to just stop all work. Plus, along with everybody else, thinking about like just basic needs and sustaining and a daughter who was
Mm-hmm.
in high school, just all of that stuff.
Yep.
But what I did, and I learned this from dogs. If you can't get a dog to eat and you give them one little morsel from your hand, it'll whet their appetite and they'll eat.
Right.
So, um, so what I did is and a lot of my work has to do with accountability and being visible and using social media
Mm-hmm.
to create that visibility and that accountability so that it forces you to show up in the way that you intended. It's like having a force outside of yourself, greater than yourself,
Mm-hmm.
that gives you a reason to show up. So I called my girlfriend Chantel, who's an artist, and she's awesome. And I said, hey, girl, what if we do these live Instagram and we commit to doing live Instagram? We'll just start talking about art. We'll figure out what's going to happen on Thursdays for 1 hour at 4:00. And she's like, yeah, I'm totally up for that. So that was the little morsel that I needed. So we did this project. We came up with a project. We came up with materials. We invited the community of people watching to join the project. We used cardboard and, remember, these were things, we were still in lockdown. So
Yeah.
didn't really get stuff. Anyhow, what happened was once that project was done, I had whet my appetite. I went back into my studio and learned something I learned growing up in Venice. And that is, which it's funny how many times I've reverted back to this during this pandemic and even during the last election,
Mm.
that before this last one and this one too. There will always be distractions. There's always chaos and drama and things that feel like they're on fire outside your door. And God, this is going to sound it's going to sound however it's going to sound.
Yep.
But, and I hope I don't cry because I'm so emotional,
It's
but maybe
totally
I
okay.
will. I have this life, and in this life, no matter what is going on around me, I always have to make choices about what I want to experience, where I'm going, and what I'm going to allow it to do to me. And in the last election, because I was devastated, I said to myself, I just stopped listening to the news. That's what I did. I just stopped. And I went back into my studio and I said, I'm not letting this person or this circumstance take my life away, because I remember growing up with that at home. It was like I could constantly be a triage to catastrophic events happening and never really step into my own life. Or I
Mm.
could step into my own life and recognize that it's just all going to still be there, and I can be part of it, but I can be part of it on my own terms. So when all of this happened, I just chose to stay in my own lane and recognize the value of my work. It might not be of anybody's interest at the time, but just to stay committed. And I can see what's going on over here and see what's going on over here, but there was still value in what I was doing, and to trust that path.
Mm.
And so what it did is it actually even made me even stronger, because this pandemic was harder for all of us.
Right.
I mean, if I didn't watch the news before, I was really harder not to watch the news during
Hmm.
this last 7, 8 months.
Right. Right.
So and I trust that the work that I do in the world has value,
Hmm.
and that it needs to be done as well as all the other topics. I mean, of course, I thought, oh God, I need to have a pandemic response or a social justice response.
Mm.
And I thought, actually, I'm
Right.
already on task. Like, don't leave your station. We need people at all these different stations. Not everybody is
Hmm.
called to be political artists or social justice artists. There's so
Yeah.
many things that the world needs us to show
Absolutely.
up for. So that, and I've been like that. I mean, I think that I've had more work done in this last 6 to 8 months. Um, and the louder it's been, the more I've gone within.
Yeah.